Hey everybody, Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick unboxing and first look at the Razer Blade 2014 edition gaming laptop. The configuration I'll be unboxing today is priced at $23.99 retail, and with Razer Blade there really isn't anything other than retail, and that's because you are getting the most powerful gaming machine in its form factor ever made. And there are some key enhancements over the previous generation, which I'll be getting into. But let's start off with the Intel i7 quad-core 4702HQ processor, which is the same one in my XPS 15. So I already know what to expect there, which is best-in-class mobile processing performance if you need to do video encoding or even gaming, of course. Then you've got the real big enhancement, one of the many here for the Razer Blade 2014, which is the NVIDIA GeForce GTX 870M, which has 3 gigs of dedicated RAM. 8 gigs of DDR3 RAM on board. I wish there were 16, but that seems to be a limitation of the 14-inch profile of the Blade, at least what Razer is willing to market. But here's the next big upgrade, the 14-inch QHD Plus display that so many were waiting for, and it is also multi-touch, so you do have a capacitive screen there. The resolution 3200 by 1800 isn't 4K, but frankly, it's ahead of its time when it comes to graphics hardware anyway. You'll be doing most of your gaming if you want optimum performance with this machine in 1080p. This is the 256 gig version. You can go with a 128 if you want to spend a little bit less. The 512 is simply outrageous at 2700 in my opinion. Windows 8.1 out of the box in terms of Wi-Fi connectivity, 802.11 ABG, N and AC, and of course Bluetooth 4.0. In terms of battery life, the built-in battery is going to yield about an hour when it comes to gameplay from what I've read, and when it comes to typical web browsing, typical tasks, you're looking at 4 to 5 hours, but hopefully I'll be able to get more than that. And the astonishing part is that this is a 4.5-pound device, really under that. If you can see that there, 4.47. So let me get this box out of the way and bring out the real box. And the first thing I noticed about this is that the packaging doesn't resemble what I've seen from NVIDIA, but some of NVIDIA's products, like specifically the Shield, did have a similar design on the packaging with the green and black contrast, but this is Razer's branding. Let's keep that in mind. You can see the center logo, also Razer's branding, and this is all about getting the best performance you possibly could in a portable gaming console, I would say. And you can see it right there, black finish, all metal. I believe it's an aluminum build all around, just like the previous generation. And definitely weighty, but very, very solid. The logo right there, dead center, and it is very thin. That's the thing I can tell you right now when compared to just about everything else on the market. This is not only one of the lightest and most powerful gaming laptops out there, but when it comes to thickness or thinness, it also rules everything else. This did come from the Microsoft Store, which is where I would recommend purchasing this from. They are pretty good to deal with overall, and free return shipping if you're not satisfied with the machine. Also, you do get a clean install of Windows 8 on here, which all of their machines come with clean, their signature installation, basically bloatware free. So we've got the power brick right here, which is laced into some packaging. Fairly straightforward, more Razer branding, which I expect. Typical looking, actually very similar to my Dell power supply, and unfortunately no USB port on here for charging a peripheral, which clearly isn't a necessity, but a lot of companies are doing that these days, so that's something I would have liked to have seen, but can certainly live without. And then I believe we've just got some applicable paperwork here. Essentially, for gamers, by gamers, if you're not familiar with that slogan already. And they really did address what everyone was missing or wanted from last gen, which was upgrading that display, which last gen they had focused on making sure that you had a display that really would be able to work well with the graphics card on board, and that was a compromise made. Now we've got a much higher res display, which will be practical for daily tasks, but when it comes to gaming, not necessarily so practical. So we have a cleaning cloth, which I know the plastic makes look beautiful, but it does just say Blade across it. Some stickers, so they're giving you some decals to get crazy, and then what almost look like coasters, but these are the instruction manuals, as well as the company congratulating you that you've transitioned to basically another caliber of laptop. So pretty cool marketing here, definitely unique. I give Razer a lot of credit. This is a very nice machine. I haven't gotten it out of the box literally completely yet for you, but let's move on to that and get this going. And here we go. Now, I can already tell you, as I said before, definitely a heavy machine for its form factor. Even though this is a 14-inch laptop, it is weighing in, as I said, at 4.5 pounds. So it's definitely thick. It's not in any way too thick, in my opinion. I'm going to zoom in a little bit there, but it's very well balanced, I would say. So feels premium. Cold to the touch right now because of the aluminum build, and essentially, the machine hasn't been on yet. This, at least the Razer Blade line does tend to run hot because of the build, so that is a trade-off in getting that all-metal build. You can see on the left-hand side of the laptop, we have our power port right there, 2 USB 3.0 jacks with their green color, which is, of course, Razer, again, making it known that they're making their own machine how they want, and then a 3.5mm headphone jack. Nothing along the front other than the ability to actually open the laptop. Of course, a lot of people feel that this looks just like a black MacBook Pro, and I understand why. Another USB 3.0 port here on the other side, HDMI out, your Kensington lock, and that is it. So what do I wish was on here? A lot of things. I wish we had 16 gigs of RAM. I wish that the SSD options were a little bit more price savvy when compared to the balance of the options out there, but that's not what the Razer Blade is all about. Also noticing already, major fingerprint magnet here with the aluminum, which hopefully can be cleaned, but we'll see with use. So let's go ahead and crack this open. You can see the chiclet style keyboard. It's flanked by some stereo speakers. I'll be interested to see how they perform. And then we have the touchpad, which supposedly has been improved over the previous generation. I don't know that it was awful. I didn't use the previous gen, so I can't comment on it. This was the generation, though, that hit the sweet spot for me in terms of bringing everything you would want in terms of graphics and traditional processing power, along with a display that says 2014, even if it isn't perfect to game at 3200 by 1800. But that is a very good display for general usage, as well as playing back 4K content if you actually have anything 2K and up. Power button right here. I'm going to power it up. This is a backlit keyboard. We'll see if there's any charge, and it appears there is not. So I can't show you guys what the display looks like. Of course, there is a webcam there on the front end, and right now things, it is dead for all intents and purposes. I have no ability to really show you anything, but I like the way it looks in terms of performance. I know what to expect. I mean, at 1080p, this thing is going to be able to play just about everything at ultra. If the touchpad works well and the keyboard experience is comfortable, I may not be so concerned with the battery life trade-off, because part of the compromise here of getting all of this power in a small form factor, especially even though it weighs the same amount as the XPS 15, of course the XPS 15 cannot hang when it comes to gaming compared to this machine, even though it has more RAM, less expensive options when it comes to SSD. Storage, I mean the 512 16 gig model that I already reviewed, much less expensive than this machine, but it has nowhere near the graphic capability. It also is much bigger, even though they weigh about the same. The 14-inch form factor here does make a big difference in terms of general profile. This is a thinner machine, so there are some advantages. I wish it had an SD card slot. I know this is a gaming laptop, but come on, this is the most powerful pound-for-pound machine on Earth. I think we could have squeezed an SD card slot into here, and even though it's a gaming machine, everyone still has an SD card, right? Micro SD card, so I wish it was there, but a hub will rectify that for me personally. And also I do wish we had DisplayPort, because DisplayPort, you know, daisy chaining, multiple monitors, that is definitely a missing feature for me. On the back end, you can see we've got some ventilation there. And as I said earlier, I expect this laptop to get pretty hot, but we'll see with time. Definitely really nice, picking up those fingerprints like a magnet, but I like what I see. And of course, as I get to spend some time with it, I'll report back as well as do some gaming demos for all of you, and try to answer as many questions I can about this brand new top of the line Razer Blade 2014. So if you're in the market for a gaming laptop, don't want to take on a 17-inch monster, you're not going to find anything that can touch this, especially with this brand new display that promises not only to be one of the highest in terms of pixel density for a 14-inch display. Remember, even though a lot of laptops have QHD plus displays, they aren't 14-inch displays necessarily. And then the other thing is the actual type of panel. This is latest and greatest, so no compromises on that. It's part of the reason the battery life also didn't get any better, because frankly the machine didn't get larger, things just got beefier. But I look forward to demoing it, getting back to all of you. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. And of course, as usual, please feel free to subscribe. Later.